Hi, first graders. Today we are reading about the life cycle of a frog. Before I read this story called All About the Frog Life Cycle, make sure that you have a pencil and your frog life cycle packet in front of you. Okay. Have you seen a frog lately? There are many different kinds of frogs. Some live in the water, some live in the trees, and some live on the ground or in holes. They come in several different colors, although the most common color we think of is green. The frog's scientific name is Amphibia anerta, which also includes toads. The scientific name is hard to say, so we're just going to call them frogs. Frogs like to eat insects. They have long, sticky tongues that shoot out of their mouths to catch bugs as they fly or crawl by. Frogs are important not only for helping reduce the insect population, but are also useful in medical research, for classroom experience, and even for food. Birds, bats, fish, turtles, snakes, and even people eat frogs. The frog life cycle begins when the adult frog lays her eggs in the water. A female frog can lay up to 20,000 eggs, depending on what kind of frog it is. Some frogs stay and watch over their eggs, while others leave their eggs after they have laid them. The eggs take 1 to 3 weeks to hatch, depending on what kind of frog it is. The new little creatures that hatch out are called tadpoles. That's the second life cycle stage. They look like a tiny fish with a big head, but not much like a frog yet. They have to go through some growing stages first. One of the first things a new tadpole will do is attach itself to something until it grows a little bigger and gets a little stronger. The tadpole first eats the yolk of its egg, and then it begins to feed on algae, and algae is an underwater plant. At about 6 to 9 weeks old, the tadpole will be swimming all around and will start to grow arms and legs. Its body gets a bit bigger and longer, and its tail begins to shrink. It is now able to eat bigger things like dead insects or small pieces of plant. Soon after reaching 9 weeks of age, the tadpole starts to transform into a froglet. Its tail has shrunk even more and its body begins to look more like a frog. By 12 weeks, the froglet only has a stub left of a tail and is ready to leave the water. By 16 weeks, the frog has completed its growing cycle and is an adult. They are then ready to lay new eggs to start the life cycle over again. The average frog can live 4 to 15 years depending on what kind of frog it is. However, some species can even live longer. Okay, the very first page in your packet looks like this. It is called Frog Fill in the Blank. Now down here we have a list of words. We have fish, arms, ground, insects, froglet, legs, tadpoles, and eggs. Now we need to use those words to make this a complete story. So anything that has a blank line like this one is going to use a word. Frogs live in the water, in trees, and on the blank. What word goes in the blank? The correct word is ground. So you're going to want to write ground in the line and then cross it off so you don't need to use it again. Frogs like to eat blank. They like to eat insects. So cross off insects and write it in the blank. Frogs lay blank. Frogs lay eggs. When the eggs hatch, they are called blank. Correct answer is tadpoles. Tadpoles look like tiny Correct answer is fish. Remember, they don't look like a frog yet. They just look like fish. Tiny fish. After many weeks, tadpoles grow blank and blank. What do they grow? Arms and legs is what they grow. When their tail shrinks to a stub, they are called blank. And the only word we have left is froglet, which is the answer that goes in this blank, is a froglet. Okay, I'm going to read the whole story. If you are still working on filling in, that's okay. I'm going to read the whole thing to you. Frogs live in the water, in trees, and on the ground. Frogs like to eat insects. Frogs lay eggs. When the eggs hatch, they are called tadpoles. Tadpoles look like tiny fish. After many weeks, tadpoles grow arms and legs. When their tail shrinks to a stub, they are called froglet, and they emerge from the water as young adults. Now, the life cycle can begin again. Okay, go ahead and flip your page. Okay, if you have scissors and a glue stick, go ahead and get those out now, and I want you to cut out each of these little boxes. There should be 5 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and cut those out. Pause the video, and then once you have them cut out, you can hit play again. If you do not have glue sticks and a scissors, that is okay. I am going to show you what to do if you do not have glue sticks and a scissors. Okay, first we need to find what goes in box number 1. So what is the first stage of the life cycle? The correct answer is eggs. So you find the picture of an egg and then draw an arrow that goes into box number 1. Okay, then we need to figure out what goes in box number 2. So what's the second stage of a life cycle? This is kind of tricky because some of them look the same, but remember that a tadpole is first, and this is a tadpole kind of, and this is a tadpole, but this one right here has legs and arms, and we don't want that one yet. So make sure that it's the one that does not have arms or legs, and that goes in box number 2. Okay, what goes in box number 3? What is the third life cycle stage? You said the tadpole with arms and legs. You are correct. After a few weeks, it starts to grow arms and legs. Okay, box number 4. Stage number 4 is a froglet, and a froglet is a frog that has a tail. So then we just have one more, box number 5, and that is the frog. Go ahead and either draw your arrows or cut and paste. Then you're going to go on to the next page. The next page is color the frogs. Now frogs can be all sorts of colors. They could be yellow, red, orange, green, lots of different colors. So maybe you want to color each one differently. When you're done with that, the last page is a frog maze. You're going to start with this little frog right here, and then you want to get him to his home at the pond. That's all for frog life cycle. Bye.